Hi again, and welcome to Part 2 of the VA Form 10-305 video series. This topic will review the options available to veterans and caregivers if they disagree with their PCAFC decision made on or after February 19th, 2019. Ready to learn more? Let's go.
Steve, remember I mentioned the review and appeal options available through the Appeal Modernization Act, known as AMA, if you disagree with the PCAFC decision made on or after February 19th, 2019? Let's review those in more detail. The first two options I want to talk about are higher level review and supplemental claim. Both options are available for decisions rendered on or after February 19th, 2019, or when opting in from the legacy appeals process after receiving your statement of the case. If you don't have new and relevant evidence to submit, you can request a higher level review. You can use this option when you would like a higher level reviewer to review the PCAFC decision you disagree with. This will be a reviewer who was not involved in the original PCAFC decision. For this type of review, you cannot submit new information. The decision will be based on information available to the VA at the time of the original decision. However, you will have the opportunity to point out errors you believe the VA may have made. You can add this information to VA Form 20-0996 or request an informal conference. The next option I will discuss is the supplemental claim. Use this option when you want to include new and relevant information for review. Be aware that new evidence means information not previously considered by VA, so it was not part of their decision, and relevant evidence means information that tends to prove or disprove something in your claim. You can submit evidence yourself or ask VA to get the evidence for you, such as medical records from a VA medical center, other federal facilities, or from your private healthcare provider. VA will be unable to accept your supplemental claim if potentially new evidence is not identified or provided. You will submit VA Form 20-0995 when you want VA to consider new and relevant evidence. The third option is to appeal directly to the Board of Veterans' Appeals. This process is different than the legacy appeals process, though. In particular, you must use VA Form 10182, Decision Review Request, Board Appeal, Notice of Disagreement, for decisions rendered on or after February 19th, 2019, to request an appeal to the board. I should also point out that you can only request one path at a time, such as a higher level review, supplemental claim, or board appeal for a specific issue. Once one of these options is selected, a decision must be received, or you must withdraw the request for review or appeal before another one of these options is selected. Also remember that once the board renders a decision, that decision is final in that specific matter. However, you can still submit a supplemental claim if you have new information that was not considered at the time of the decision. We've talked about the legacy appeal process for PCAFC decisions issued prior to February 19th, 2019, and the options available under AMA for decisions issued on or after February 19th, 2019. I also want to mention that the VHA clinical review process, also known as the VHA clinical appeal process, remains available regardless of the date your decision was issued. A centralized eligibility and appeals team, or CEAT, a group of PCAFC-trained, interprofessional and licensed practitioners within a Veterans Integrated Service Network, or VISN, conducts the VHA clinical review of PCAFC decisions. Keep in mind, individuals cannot pursue this type of review and a board appeal for the same issue at the same time. The VHA clinical review process is available in tandem with other VHA review options. There is no specific form required to request a VHA clinical review, but the request must be in writing and submitted to your local patient advocate. This is a lot of information I've given you today. Just know that anytime you want to review these options again or obtain copies of the form, you can go to the CSP Review and Appeal website, which has a specific page all about PCAFC review and appeal options. Please go to www.caregiver.va.gov. Lastly, you can also call the Caregiver Support Line, as staff can answer general questions about the review and appeal options available to veterans and caregivers. And of course, I'm only a phone call away.
I am so glad to hear all of the review and appeal options available to veterans and caregivers. Thank you for going over all of this with me.
We have covered a lot of information about the options available to veterans and caregivers when they disagree with a PCAFC decision. You should now be able to explain the PCAFC review and appeal options available.
If you would like more information about the Caregiver Support Program, including your decision under PCAFC, you can contact the Caregiver Support Line at 1-855-260-3274. You can also receive help with your review or appeal requests from a Veteran Service Organization representative, an attorney, or agent accredited by VA. For a list of VA-recognized organizations and VA-accredited individuals who are authorized to help with these review and appeal options, visit https://www.va.gov/ogc/accreditation/index.asp.
Thanks for taking the time to review Part 2 of VA Form 10-305. Please tune in for more videos covering forms relevant to requesting further review or appeal of PCAFC decisions. Thank you, veterans, for your service. And for our many caregivers, thank you for all you do in support of your veterans.